Gemini Full Moon, the last full moon of the year, and our beloved Ascension support team has brought us everything we need to know in order to work with the energies during this time. What's up, beautiful? It's Lisa Roulette, and I'm here to help you heal, navigate your Ascension journey, and create a life you love. If you're in the midst of your spiritual awakening, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the family. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I release a new video. Girl's trying to go big on YouTube. She's going to start releasing 3 videos a week every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I appreciate your support in helping me grow the channel. Now, keep in mind with my videos, I am not an astrologer. I happen to know a lot about astrology because it is a passion of mine, but there are far too many excellent astrologers on YouTube for me to even think that I would be an astrologer. I am an intuitive. So I receive messages about astrology. When I receive messages, I have to go and research the astrology, as opposed to astrologers. They look at the astrology and then receive messages. So I just want you to keep that in mind, because I don't want you to think that I'm claiming to be an astrologer. I am an intuitive. What I am intuitive of is our Ascension support team. I call it our Ascension support team because if it resonates with you, then most certainly it is your Ascension support team. But this is a team of energies that I started channeling a while ago that help me understand astrology and also help me understand Ascension at large. We have to remember that astrology is one of our greatest Ascension tools, which is why I talk about it so often. It reminds us as above, so below, as within, so without, and it also gives us a direct path for our expansion. It reminds us when we need to slow down and when we might even need to speed up. So let's dive right into the messages that our beloved Ascension support team delivered for us. We are reminded of Gemini being the twins, or Gemini representing duality. And most specifically, what they brought in for us was the dual nature of the mind, the high mind and the low mind. We're told that we create the third dimensional realm. We are the actual causation of this third dimensional realm because we predominantly create from the lower mind. What is the lower mind? Well, the lower mind is the home to the ego. And if you don't know what the ego is, make sure you visit the video that I'll link in the description below for a very detailed explanation on what the ego is, which is very important for those of you who feel like you're ascending, because in order to ascend, you really do have to work to quiet that ego and allow that spirit to come forward. But what the ego does is it ultimately creates the pain body. And when we create from the lower mind, we are therefore creating from a wounded awareness, which creates the density that we live in. So we're asked not so much to leave the lower mind behind, but to recognize that there is a lower mind and a higher mind. The higher mind is our higher sensory perception, and it's located in our heart center. This is how we access certainly messages from the divine self or the high self, but also from the angelic realm. And we're encouraged to work with this more often, but also to collapse the high mind and the low mind into one. They don't want us to feel as if the lower mind has no purpose, because it actually can gather quite a bit of information that is important for our journey back home to the one divine source. Combined with the knowledge that we receive in the lower mind and the wisdom we have in the higher mind, we can advance very quickly along the ascension path. Now, the next thing they brought in was Mercury, who is the ruler of Gemini. But I didn't get so much the messenger aspect of Mercury or the communicator that Mercury is. I got more the alchemical nature of Mercury, which is quicksilver. So I saw this sort of quickening, and the quickening came from the alchemical process of turning something not so stable into something stable. And of course, as I looked around the world and I feel all of this instability of systems collapsing and social, economic, political unrest, I really felt like it was a calling for us through the collapse of the lower and the higher mind to create something significantly more stable, something more lasting. Now, with Venus retrograde about the same time as this full moon, we're also being called into that evolution, that transformation, and we're reminded of endings, that endings are okay. Endings are okay and necessary to advance along our path. We also have the sun conjunct the galactic center, which is how we're receiving all of these very high vibrational frequencies. So it's an extremely expansive time. But expansion sometimes takes us stepping back and contemplating. And this would be the message that they brought in from Mercury being in Capricorn at this time. Capricorn is a more serious energy. It is a more contemplative, reflective energy. And I think what they're saying is, we want you guys to slow down from now until the end of the year and to really reflect on the stories that you've been telling yourselves that you prefer not to tell yourself, right? And that's sort of that Venus energy and that Mercury energy combined. The storytelling is the Mercury energy, and the ending of the stories would be that Venus energy. They're encouraging us to discern what we want to tell ourselves versus what we are telling ourselves, and to become more conscious of how our manifestations are playing out, what the causes of our manifestations are. Now, if you're not sure about how consciousness creates and how the manifestation process actually unfolds, I'll link 2 very relevant videos in the description of this video below. But we're being called into a period of reflection, into a period of contemplation, to look at really what needs to end, and how this collapse of the higher mind and the lower mind into one, taking the knowledge of the lower mind and the wisdom of the higher mind in order to start to design a new story. We're in a design phase, right? I didn't feel a whole lot of solar plexus energy, which would be sort of relevant to Mercury and Gemini. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like it was time to go out and just start doing and building. It's more of a time of planning, a time to really decide what are going to be the inputs to the new stories, pouring that foundation, making those thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that are going to be the frequencies that are going to manifest in 2022, taking the time to really determining the frequency of those, and then working our way up from this full moon into the new moon in the new year, working our way up toward those vibrational frequencies. I really want to encourage you to be easy on yourself between now and the end of the year, and use it as a time to nurture yourself and to really let the light of the full moon expose what needs to be exposed. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore the shadow. Don't ignore the things, the systems that aren't working in your life. Let them come up. Let them be illuminated, because that's the only way you're going to start to tell a new story. And the final message I got was that we are the light that is going to illuminate the new earth. And this is a very big job, a job that we're being asked to take very seriously. So as we end 2021 and enter 2022, we want to step up into our roles as light workers, as facilitators, as teachers, but also as always eternal students, and use our wisdom and knowledge to not only tell our new stories, but to lift others and lift the world around us. That's a wrap for this video, my friends. As always, stay in the luminosity of your beautiful light, and remember, you are loved.